Hello everyone, and let's talk real quick about This Wretched Valley by Jenny Kiefer? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. Kiefer, I think is how the audiobook said it, because there is an audiobook available, and it was narrated by Megan Tusing. It's narrated by Megan, and it is 8 hours and 33 minutes on standard 1x speed. This is a standalone. It is a new release. At least as of filming this, it was published in 2024, and this is very much an adult horror. You don't have anything sexually explicit, but you do have gore. A lot of bloodshed, body horror, and it's classified as adult because the language is a little bit rougher as well. This takes place in Kentucky. You have a group of friends, and it says it on the back. Dylan, who has is making her income through Instagram type of a situation. She's becoming a famous rock climber. So Dylan is going to this place that one of her friends scouted. Clay, I believe is who it was, because he's trying to find these kind of like new areas. He's going to do a dissertation with it. He is currently in school. He brings Dylan to climb the rock face, and she brings her boyfriend, and her boyfriend is Luke. They bring the dog Slade, so it's Luke's dog. So yes, you do have animal in this. And Sylvia is the other person in this, and she is working with Clay, try to get him some information for his dissertation. So they go, and things start to be weird. And so you don't know if you can really trust what you're reading. Are they being haunted? Are there tricks being played on them by ghosts or by this land? Are these woods alive, or are they breathing in some noxious or poisonous gases or fumes that are making them hallucinate, and they're having this big old group hallucination? Or is one person hallucinating and it's just kind of feeding into paranoia, causing the others to hallucinate and have issues? So you're kind of questioning, trying to figure things out. This is a horror, and I will let you take it from there. So that's what this is. It starts out, there's a couple of different timelines. The start of the book, you have some first responders who find a skeleton. They find a body that's missing like its tongue, eyeballs, toes, that type of a thing. Dylan, who was the rock climber, is completely missing. So her whole group of friends is completely missing, and they don't know where Dylan is, but they do find the bodies or the remains of 3 of the 4 friends. Again, Dylan's the only one they can't find. And there's no mention of the dog. Like, the first responders don't know anything about the dog. So this edition was 302 pages, and man, you're going from the start. So the majority of the book we are following either from mostly Dylan's POV, sometimes it switches to Clay or Luke, Sylvia. It does alternate. It's all told in third person. There are other points where this takes place a lot earlier. When it's the point of view from the friends, for example, one of the chapters starts out with they're not labeled as chapters, but they have dates and times. So March 8th, 2019, 5:46 p.m. March 10th, 2019, 4:47 p.m., etc. There are other chapters in this where there's timelines. For example, we have early summer 1982. And I want to say there was one in the 1700s. Let me try to find October 1861, and there's just like one chapter here and there. Winter 1779. So occasionally you'll have some glimpses from something that happened in the past in this same area. So that's what this book was about. I don't want to say more than that, because you want to, especially with this being a horror, you want to stumble upon these twists and turns all by yourself. It helps add to the atmosphere. In some cases, depending on how you read, it might take away from it, but I can't help you with that. So let's talk content and trigger warnings. You have gore, blood, guts, pus. It describes the smell of like decomposing flesh. So you have descriptions as far as that goes. You have injuries like a broken bone, things like that, possible concussion. So a lot of talk of injuries. There is animal death in this. Now I did mention there is a dog in this. The dog goes missing, okay? The animal death that I am describing is very gory, but it's mostly the description for these animal deaths. The biggest thing with the dog slayed is just that the dog is missing. So put your mind at ease in case you're a big dog lover like I am, okay? Put your mind at ease. But there is a lot of grief and talk about that with how much you love your dog and a lot of that grief. The animal death and the gore associated with that is like birds and chipmunks, smaller animals, and it does get very gory with that. Okay, so you still have animal gore and death. You have someone drinking alcohol, like they find this alcohol and you don't know. I mean, they're trying to cope with stuff, and so there's trust issues that arise between this groups of friends, and can they really trust each other? Questions like that, you got to figure that out for yourself, and that's your content and trigger warning. So it's not the heaviest, but and this is a debut from this author, and I am excited to see where this author goes with this book, with her writing. I'm excited for that. In case you're still on the fence, let's go ahead and tell you the words that are used in this book. You have hell, 16, shit, 40, shithole, once, ass, 10, the word God, 21, not in a religious sense. Occasionally, I will say sometimes there is, especially when you're in the older perspectives like the 1700s, it would have been used religiously, but for the most part, it is not religious. The word damn comes up 8, Lord, once, asshole, once, bitch, 4, the name Jesus, once, not in a religious sense in this one. The word suicide comes up once, just basically, and it doesn't describe, it's basically like someone committed suicide. Okay, that's all you hear from that. Bullshit, twice, hellhound, once, balls, once, and the word that comes up the most, again, this edition was 302 pages, the word that comes up the most is fuck at 192 times. When I read this, two other trigger warnings I forgot about. You do have talk and mention of death of a child. You're seeing that child be killed on page. And you have talk of cannibalism. Okay? Those are your other content trigger warnings. Again, takes place in Kentucky. So what I was going to say about the word fuck in this, I don't like saying that word. I say it here so that you know how many times it'll pop up. For example, there's another book where it popped up, it was like 300 pages, that it pops up less than 5 times. My mom can handle that. But with this particular book, knowing how often it pops up, she will not pick this book up. For one, it's not her genre. She doesn't like horror, but even if it wasn't horror and was more like a literary fiction, if that word was in there, then she would avoid it. So that's why I give you these word counts, to know if this is one that you're going to pass. For example, she could have been interested in this if this was more literary fiction. But again, where that word pops up a lot, then she knows to give it a pass. So that's why I give you these word tallies, so that you know. So yeah, these are the words. The other thing I was going to say about the F-bomb is, if I was in a situation that these kids were in, I would probably be letting that word fly. I don't like to say it. I generally don't see the point of it, but totally understandable with their situation. I found it very realistic as far as the language that they would be using. And again, if I was in their situation, you darn well better be betting I would be letting certain words be flying. So yeah. Anyway, let me know, have you read this Wretched Valley by Jenny Kiefer? Are you interested in this book, or knowing what the content and trigger warnings are and what some of the word usage is? Is this one that you have to give a pass to? There's no shame in that. Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.